Sono chido salame. Alright, let's talk about Jojo Part 1. Phantom Borado, more properly known as the Phantom Blood. It's the first 44 chapters of the manga, or the first 9 episodes of the anime. So let's begin with some characters. We have Jonathan Joestar and Dio Brando being the two vital components of the series. We have Jonathan's father, George, as well as Dio's father, Dario. The way these two families meet is nothing out of the ordinary. George's stagecoach crashes, his wife dies. Dario is trying to loot their corpses, which George mistakes as him trying to rescue them. See, that's perfectly normal. After Dio's dad dies, Dio makes it obvious that he is going to the Joestar estate, to where George is indebted to take care of him as he is a moron. But he raises him as his own son as he is a gentleman. You learn very early on that Dio is evil, in the most literal sense of the word, between turning all of Jonathan's friends against him after beating him in a boxing match to sticking his dog inside of an incinerator after I've done many terrible things to that poor animal besides the incinerator. When Jonathan thought he had found something to actually make him happy for a change, being Arena, it's basically taken from him as Dio steals the first kiss from her. No, it was not consensual. Luckily, having the added anger powers up Jojo enough to take Dio down for the first time. I took a little bit of a break around here, not gonna lie, and dropped it for a couple weeks because there was other things I wanted to watch. I did, however, pick it back up, and there's some weird timey jump that happens. I think it was like 7 years, and now Jojo and Dio are, chummy and buds. Obviously, Dio is just faking it, but it's so weird to see them being all chummy. That something just doesn't sit right. By looking at the two interacting with each other, you get the sense that something's wrong. Anyway, both of them are seen as top athletes as well as students, as Jojo is going for archaeology and Dio is going for law. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that Jojo's dad is now sick? Not to mention it's almost identical to when Dio's dad was sick. Yeah, Jojo finds a note after discovering Dio has been the one giving George his meds the entire time. The note described Dario's condition, and it's almost identical to his father George's. He takes the medicine and heads to London to find the maker of this poison. Quick side note, I guess it's not really a side note, more a tangent at this point. Dio is ready to just kill Jojo before he can be exposed and his plan ruined. He plans to do this using the stone mask, which I realize I have not mentioned up to this point. Someone got blood on the mask and these spikes or tendril-like things shot out of it, and would have seemed to kill who was ever wearing it because it went right into the skull. When Dio tests this out, however, it turns out one of the attackers that came at him into the street turns into a vampire. Yep, we add vampires into the mix now. Luckily, the sun comes up and manages to save Dio. I mean, save is used lightly here. Luckily for him, he was saved, not for us, the viewer, but he is a solid character. You can't really dispute that. Back to Jojo. Introduce Robert E. Speedwagon and the band of thugs that try to beat the living hell out of Jojo, only to realize that he's a gentleman. After realizing that Jojo held back, Speedwagon decides to join him on his quest to take down Dio and leads him right to the conjurer of poison. Jojo then returns and confronts Dio about the poison, to which George and several policemen are hidden behind a curtain. A dramatic drop of said curtain, Dio is found out. So in a desperate attempt to take Jojo out, Dio throws a knife at him, to which George intercepts with his own body. Then when you have it, Dio pops on the mask and is lit up firing squad style and blasted out of the window. Now let's introduce Dio the Vampire. The almost invulnerable Dio versus normal human Jojo. What else is there to do besides obviously burn down the entire mansion and throw Dio onto a statue that happens to have a perfect point of puncture for his body? And obviously, yes, I feel like it's completely blatant at this point in the series that Dio is not dead. So, Jojo is hospitalized and reunited with his one and only true love, Erina. So on a walk, Jojo encounters the man, the myth himself, Zeppeli, the Italian boy. This man introduces what is called Hamon to Jojo, which from what I gathered is basically like Nen from Hunter x Hunter. You use breathing in order to amplify your attacks as well as your defense. Oh, and did I mention that Jack the Ripper is also a vampire yet? As if it weren't bad enough with him being an overpowered serial killer, now he's a vampire. Regardless, Jojo kills him through a wall with his Hamon. Alright, trap time. Not that kind of trap. This young lad, Paco, steals the luggage of the group and lures them into a trap set by Dio and his powerful knights, Bruford, I don't know how to say it, and Tarticus, two very well-known knights from the 1500s. So in this battle between Bruford and Tarticus, Jojo manages to revert Bruford back to human with his Hamon and befriended him in a sense. It was very beautiful, very touching. Bruford manages to give Jojo his sword of luck while adding a P in his own blood, making it now luck and pluck. Very emotional, might I say. So what else is left but Tarkus? Tarkus manages to trap Jojo in this room where they both have collars on, bound by chains leading them to the ceiling. The door is locked. It's a cage match. Luckily, the boy from earlier manages to sneak in through a little window and use the lever to release the lock, allowing Zeppeli and Speedo to enter the room and help Jojo. Okay, actual side note, Zeppeli received a prophecy describing the events leading up to his death, which matched perfectly with what is going on currently. Let's continue. He fulfills his prophecy and ends up transferring his life force and power onto Jojo before passing. This added boost of power allows Jojo to break free from what was once thought to be an unbreakable collar and take down Tarkus. Both knights now gone. It's time for Dio. Another side note, because I completely forgot about it. Tom Petty, yep, and his two lads join him to help Jojo. So Jojo confronts Dio, and Dio summons this horde of zombie vampires or whatever the hell you want to call them to keep the others away, as this fight between him and Jojo is meant to be a 1v1. During this encounter, you begin to learn all of the abilities that Dio has obtained, from freezing his opponents to laser eyes. Yep, laser eyes. Not to mention the super strength and speed. He's basically Superman, but Dio the vampire. However, Jojo manages to engulf his fists in flames and land a critical Hamon hit to Dio, making you think he has won. Of course, Dio severs his own head, which is picked up by the disciple of his to carry on his legacy. Oh yeah, the stone mask is destroyed. Yay! Maybe. Alright, so happy times. Happy. Jojo and Erina get married and take a cruise to America. However, Dio is also on board, as well as his disciple, which Jojo happens to notice. Dio, or the head of Dio, I should say, managed to fatally wound Jojo with the laser eyes. I mean, that's basically all he's got in his arsenal besides using his hair to navigate, which is whatever. It's Jojo. There's no laws. There is a baby. Not to mention, Erina is pregnant. Jojo urges them to run as he has used the disciple's body to jam the ship's engine, causing it to explode. Yes, this is Jojos. Erina jumps into the container, which is, of course, indestructible as it was holding Dio. Whilst this is happening, Jojo is holding Dio's head and caressing it while the ship explodes. Let's talk about a happy ending. The first arc of this series is absolutely bonkers nuts, and it takes a little bit of time to build up, but it's actually recommended that you skip the first part, which I don't know why. I loved it. There was so much nonsense and randomness, not to mention the fights and the plot, the character interactions, the character progression with Jojo. It was incredible. It was fantastic, and not to, of course, who could forget the opening of Soto Chido Sarame? Anyway, I plan on covering a whole lot more of Jojo's in the future, as it is one of the greats as well as one of the most memeiest. I hope you guys definitely have a great rest of the day. I have been Crypto Anime.